Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about more angles in circles, and this video is specifically about the angles that I call INNIES. I call them INNIES because they have their vertex in the circle. Alright, so that makes sense why I would call it an INNIE. And it's not a central angle because it's not right on the center, it's just somewhere inside the circle. Usually made by these two chords. Alright, so if I'm looking to find the measure of an INNIE angle, well, I can do that by adding the two arcs that are made by that angle and its vertical angle. So we'll show you how to do that. You add the arcs and then divide by 2. So add the arcs and divide by 2. That's how we'll do all these INNIE angles. Alrighty, so with example 1, I'm looking for this angle right here with the question mark. Now, you guys are really good. You know that angle on the other side, the vertical angle, is going to be the same. So whatever that x is, the x on the other side is exactly the same because they're vertical angles. So what we do to get those two arcs that I'm talking about is I look at those vertical angles and I think about the intercepted arc that's formed by those vertical angles. So that's this arc right here, the 60-degree arc. And for the other angle on the other side of it, this is the arc that's made. It's 180 degrees. So there's the two arcs that I'm talking about. All right. So I'm not really concerned with VW or UH. I'm only concerned with the arcs that are formed by my INNIE angle. Okay? So, kind of easy. All we're going to do to find the measure of that angle, we're going to add the two arcs together. So that's 180 degrees plus 60 degrees. And we're going to divide by 2. What we're doing is we're taking the average of those two arcs. So we're adding them together and dividing by the amount that there are, which is 2. So it's always the same. You add them together and divide by 2 to find the angle. So that means the measure of our angle is going to be 180 plus 60, which I think is 240, divided by 2. And 240 divided by 2 is 120 degrees. So I know that each of these angles in here was 120 degrees. Cool. Awesome. Let's take a look at example 2. Example 2 is the same situation. And I'm looking for this angle right here. So that means the arcs that I'm using is going to be this 170 degree arc and the arc formed on the other side. So this 66 degrees. So all I'm going to do is take those two arcs and add them together and divide by 2. So the measure of my angle is going to equal 170 plus 66 divided by 2. And that's going to be what, 236 divided by 2, and that's going to be, what is that going to be, 118, I think. So each of those angles is going to be 118 degrees. The question mark is going to be 118 degrees, and the angle on the other side, its vertical angle, that angle right there, is also going to be 118 degrees. Now you could do even more with this because you could use linear pairs to find the other missing angles in there. So if you wanted to, if you were ever asked, you know that these two angles next to each other are supplementary because they form that straight line. So after finding the 118, I could find the other angle next to it by subtracting from 180 because they're supplementary. So that would be, I think, 62 degrees. That means its vertical angle is also 62 degrees. So we could find lots of stuff inside that circle because we know lots of stuff. I've got 2 more examples. All right, on the left side, example 3. In this example, I'm given the angle. So I know that the angle was equal to the arc plus the arc divided by 2, but in this situation, I'm given the angle. So I know that the angle is 129 degrees. I know that one of the arcs is 208 degrees. I don't know the other arc. It's a question mark. So for right now, I'm just going to call it X. So I did the same thing. I put everything where it belongs, but this case is a little bit different because the missing piece is one of my arcs. So instead of just adding and dividing by 2, I've got to do a little bit of algebra. I'll have to say, hey, how do I undo divide by 2? Well, I'll multiply by 2. So 129 times 2 is, what is that? 258. And then I got to get rid of the plus 208, so I'll subtract 208. And what do I get? 258 minus 208 leaves me with 50 degrees equals X. So I know that this arc over here, the X, the one I didn't know, was a 50-degree arc. So we set it up the exact same way as we did before, but this time the arc was the missing piece. In this last example, we're looking for the angle again. So it's back to what we were doing originally. We still set it up the same exact way. That's how we always do those any angles. So in this one, the angle is what I don't know. So I'm going to set it up like this. The angle equals the arc plus the arc divided by 2. And this one, I don't know the angle, so I'll call it X. And the arcs that go with that angle looks like it's 187 degrees. And then the one opposite that, so on the other side, is a 51 degrees. So my 2 arcs are 187 and 51. All right, and so I need to do the math here. I need to add those together, 187 plus 51. So X equals 238 divided by 2. And when I divide by 2, I get 119. So this angle equals 119 degrees. And that means the angle on the other side, its vertical angle, is also 119 degrees. All right, guys, have a great day. Good luck on this assignment. It's really short. It's only 5 questions. So have fun. See ya.